I'm on my way to a speaking engagement. I am going to be speaking about female hormones this morning, and I thought, well, I'm driving down the road, I may as well make a video. So I'm going to talk about a little bit out of stream from what I have been doing a series on. Oops, I have my sunroof open. Because I kind of gave a sneak peek to some new products that I was coming out with, and I jumped the gun a little because it took longer than I anticipated to finish with formulation, and believe it or not, one of the big hangups was getting to name the products. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about those in a minute, but first, this is Down the Ridge with Dr. Patty. This is not medical advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Nothing I say is true. Don't listen to me. Okay, so a little more than a month ago, I sent out my newsletter and I announced that I was coming out with some metabolic products that involve the GLP-1 receptor that everybody is all like woohoo about. That being said, let me first say that I predict, as long as we can get the regulatory agencies to actually do their job, I predict these injections like the Ozempic and Wegovy and those sort of things, they will be recalled. They should be recalled. And if they're not, then it's an utter failure of the regulatory agencies. These drugs are dangerous. Most people who are taking them have never looked at what the side effects are. And as millions and millions of people are taking them now, it's so freaking trendy. It's bizarre. But more data is coming out because so many people are taking them. And one of the things that is well known is that when you start on these drugs, you basically start to starve, because not only are you not as hungry, but your digestive system slows down to the point that food stagnates in your body, in your digestive tract. So what can happen is a lot of these people have nausea as a side effect, and that's because they have putrefying food stuck in their digestive tract. Now, one known side effect that can happen with these injections is something called gastroparesis, and gastroparesis is stomach paralysis, and in some people this is not reversible. And so what that means is the people who clearly have an eating problem are now unable to eat and must be fed through a feeding tube for the rest of their lives. Like, this has happened to a lot of people. Additionally, there are some known visual problems, like people getting blurry vision, seeing spots, or going blind from these drugs. Also, there are it's well known, so much is well known about these drugs, the fact that they're not being recalled and in fact are being promoted heavily, not only by mainstream media, but by these, I'm going to call them counterfeit, because they are not what they put themselves out to be. There are nutritional companies, supplement companies that have been purchased by venture capitalists or massive corporations, and they really don't care about health. They care only about profits, and they are supporting these drugs as well. But muscle loss is huge, and it's not, so people, yes, people lose some fat, they lose a lot of fat, but they also lose muscle, and muscle has a metabolic function. It's also obviously important for strength and tissue integrity, and when you start losing muscle, it puts more strain on joints, and then you're more susceptible to ligament and cartilage and tendon injuries as well. But okay, if all your skeletal muscle goes and all your fat goes and you're walking around as a freaking skeleton, here's the newest revelation with those drugs. Your heart is a muscle, and they are noticing heart atrophy, meaning the heart shrinks in people taking these drugs. And the smaller you get, the more your heart shrinks. So the people who are like 10 to 30 pounds overweight and they decide that they're gonna do a telemedicine appointment and get a prescription for these injections, and they're really like not that overweight, they're going to be the first ones to have their heart shrink. So I could go on and rant and rave about how dangerous and treacherous and toxic these things are. I mean, yeah. However, the mechanism behind how they work can be enhanced naturally in the body without any side effects at all. And so what we want to do, those GLP-1 receptors, we want to naturally activate those. And we can do that with natural products. So I have, basically it's a pair of products that work synergistically together that are specific to the microbiome to help naturally activate the GLP-1 receptors. And I have a second, or technically a third product that is part of my, what I'm calling my metabolic bundle, that is for insulin resistance, to help optimize the body's, the cell's ability to utilize insulin. So the three products together, one is called Olympic 5. So of course, you know, there was Ozempic. This is Olympic 5, and 5 is for the 5 species of probiotics that are included in the formula to help with the mucosal lining, reduce leaky gut, really like phenomenal blend of 5 probiotics. And one specific species of probiotic that's in there is, it's really trendy because people are realizing how it activates the GLP-1 receptors. It's called Akkermansia. And it's not technically the bacteria itself. I'm not going to get into like the microbiology of it. What I will say is in Akkermansia, there are specific proteins that exist in like the cell membrane of the Akkermansia that can activate these receptors. The Akkermansia plus the 4 other probiotics that are in there help to create an environment in the gut where we are producing more of the molecules to activate the GLP-1 receptors so that you can have natural improvement in digestion and metabolism. The second product, because the first one is called Olympic 5, the second product is called Opening Ceremony. And that's because it helps to support the Olympic 5. It's a prebiotic, polyphenol, amazing formula that tastes delicious. I'm taking these now. I got them first. And it's actually a berry flavored powder. And what it does is it feeds those probiotics in the digestive system to help them to populate faster and better and thrive. So those 2 products, Olympic 5 and Opening Ceremony, are specific for supporting the GLP-1 receptor, although they do many other things. The other product, this was one that I kept getting hung up because they wouldn't let me name it what I wanted to name it. I wanted to name it Metstormin. But it sounded too much like a drug that's on the market. I'm like, yeah, I know. I did that on purpose, but they wouldn't let me do that. So I named it Metabulin for metabolic and insulin. And it is formulated for insulin resistance. Now, spoiler alert, it's not available on my website yet. I have a company that does they do the images and the info sheets and all of that for me, and they're working on it right now, and it should be on my website within a week, 2 at the most. But we do have them in stock in the office at Naturally Unbridled, so you can reach out to naturallyunbridled.com/contact, and let us know that you want the information on the metabolic bundle. And we will make sure that you get that information. All right, I'm on my way to go talk. Peace out, peeps. Have a healthy day.